Well, it's good, guys. It's Sunday. We're going to locals. We didn't make it last week. It was Easter bank holiday along with WrestleMania weekend, so we had alternative plans. But this week we're going back. We're taking back the Alistair kashtira Azamina Fiendsmith pile, but I've been sat yesterday most of the day working with Matt via messages, going over the deck list, the tweaks, and honestly the deck's looking good. I'm feeling confident, but above all else it looks fun. So let's go have some fun and play some Yu-Gi-Oh! So let's go over what happened 2 weeks ago when I was at locals. Not a whole lot really. I didn't do too well. It was a 5-round week. It wasn't pack per win, it was standard pricing, and we took 2 wins at the 5. The last round, I'll be honest, tilted me a little bit, but it happens to us all. Anyone who says they've never been tilted is lying to you. But that's down to me. This is part of the mentality of getting from the casual mindset to a bit more of the competitive mindset going. So, but this week, like I said, we've took a break, we're coming back strong, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna have some fucking amazing games. I can just feel it. So let's jump over to Geek Retreat right now, and let's get into round 1. So here we are up against Owen, and our hand is pretty good. We start off with that Magical Meltdown and chain the Wanted, so we can get that Dear Bell Searcher along with the Alistair, just in case our opponent plays Droll here. We've decided to go ahead and grab 2 cards for the price of 1. We then normal summon the Alistair, choose not to activate the effect, and then we link it off. The Alistair's then met with a Bestial, which, not gonna lie, kind of hurts. We then give up the Magical Meltdown to Spectre Dear Bells, and then the Dear Bells comes in, setting that Deception. So we, thinking about it, I should have sent the Invocation from hand, because then I could have activated the Invocation, shuffling it back into deck to add Alistair back to hand. But yeah, we live, we learn. But here we go ahead, we give up the Witch, so we can go ahead and add the Hallowed Azamina, which then we activate here, linking off into, well, showing up the Musalago, which then sends the Deception to spec it, which then activates to grab us a copy of Wanted. We have obviously already activated Wanted here, but now we use the Grave effect of banishing it to put Deception on the bottom and to draw a card. So our opponent cuts the deck, gives us a card here, and we top deck a Wanted. Of course we do. Why not? So we link 2 off into Moon, so we can go ahead. I did think about doing the Alistair, the Madness Invoker, whatever the Alistair link is, but at the end of the day, getting our Fiendsmith engine online is the better play. So we link it off into Requiem to spec the Lacrima from hand. Lacrima then activates here, following us the Engraver, and then we activate the Engraver, shuffling back the main to bring it out. We then equip the Engraver and send the Requiem along with the Magnumut, and then we link 2 into the sequence, and then we activate the sequence, shuffling the 3 back in order to get the Desiree. So not too bad here now as well. We're having a little flick, we activate the Hallowed, shuffling back Musalago in order to get the Hallowed Azamina back, which now we activate, revealing Il Sylvia and sending the Wanted from hand as cost. So we can go ahead and special summon the Il Sylvia. There's me looking for it, but idiotically I put it in the graveyard. Sorry about the background noise, it is bedtime, so Evie's trying to go to sleep. But then we link 3 off into the Agmundi. Agmundi, target the Desiree, bring it back, and we equip the sequence. We then set the Angel Statue and the Wanted from hand, and then we go to pass turn. During the end phase, of course, Magnum does resolve, allowing our opponent to go ahead and get another copy of, another Bestial. What you're going to see here is something I haven't seen in a while, but at the same point I fully understand where my opponent comes from. So they draw for turn, and during their standby phase we go ahead and we activate that statue just to stop the inherit summons from happening. He asks, can I chain to that? I was like, yeah, of course you can. So he goes ahead and chains his Bestial, targeting our Dear Bellstar in grave, we chain our Wanted to spec the Dear Bellstar from grave, because it can also spec it from grave, and then activate the Dear Bellstar to set the deception, and of course the Bestial just fizzles out, remaining in hand. So he goes ahead, specs his Fenrir, and searches. I say that's absolutely fine because, well, he has a monster on the field. Another kashtira monster is going to do very little. So I'm perfectly fine for that. So he swings into the Sylvia, attempts to activate on attack. We disactivate the Sylvia so it doesn't get barraged face down, so therefore we can shuffle it back. He then chooses to crash the Fenrir into my Desiree, which really confuses me. Then he goes ahead and activates Lightning Storm, which I guess kind of makes sense, but then we go ahead, use the Desiree negate, and then he summons his Madolche monster. He then searches another Madolche, but it does actually require him to have no monsters. So we're back home and it is now the next day. So let's talk about round one. You've just watched match one of round one, and I was up against Owen. I love playing Owen. I think he's a great guy. He's recently just got back into the game, so he's still missing a lot of cards, and he's still learning like what the newer cards in the format still do, as we all are. However, with Owen, he has his pet deck, which is Madolche, and they did get some support about a year ago, but that was while he wasn't playing, so to him these are all brand new cards, so he's trying to learn what these cards do on the fly, and fair play to him. But as you see, I won the dice roll. I went first. I did what I could. And then he starts his turn. And as he put it, exactly his exact words was, I've whiffed my combo. Let's go to game two. As you see exactly in that game. Now the reason why I've shown that one over game two is because game two honestly is no different. He specs his Fenrir. He uses the Fenrir effect, which is cool. He searches another Fenrir, and then he overlays into Glass Souffle, I want to say, is the Xyz monster, but you can detach one, target another monster, and it can't be destroyed by card effects or whatever it is, or targeted by card effects. I chain my Ghost Ogre, blowing it up, and he literally looks at just his Fenrir on board and goes, Fenrir and a Hoot Cake on board and goes, yeah, you've got this one, there's nothing I can do here, and skips it up. So fair play to Owen for trying out his pet deck, and I love the Madolche card, so I was very happy I got to play against that, and we're starting the day off with a victory under our belt, which is always a good thing. But now let's check out some footage from round two. Okay, so we do go ahead and activate the Mulchani in response to the activation of the field spell. I do apologise that I didn't get that activation on camera, clipped it a bit too short. But here he goes ahead and so I'm not entirely sure what he just did there because I keep putting my cards in the way of his field, so I do really apologise about that. But our opponent does activate the kashtira planet. He goes ahead, specs the Fenrir. He does go ahead to activate the Fenrir effect, and we do go ahead and drop that imperm. Now, the reason why I dropped the imperm there is because I know he's playing Horus. This is game 3 at the end of the day, so I've got that bestial in hand and I want to get rid of one of those Umsetis as soon as I possibly can. So I just kind of shoot the imperm off just to try and minimise his discard advantage. And there he did have to actually discard the Umseti and the other Umseti to get his King Sark and to draw a card. He then sets one, he specs back the Umseti that he had, and then during the end phase we do get to go ahead and resolve a Magma, grabbing the Druispan. So I give the deck to our opponent, he cuts, we draw for turn, we go to our main phase. He also Mulchamis, but then gets pointed out that he can't Mulchami because he controls cards. We normal summon Alistair, we search for the invocation, which actually goes through, which is always nice. And then we link off the Alistair and the sorry, why did the Alistair go to grave? I'm not entirely sure why Alistair went to grave there. I do really apologise, I am trying to get better with, oh, he banished the Alistair face down with the Fenrir, of course he did. And then we go ahead, we spec Witch, and skill training's flipped, and it's or it hurts, because this is also what happened to us in game 1. Fenrir is getting powered up attack and defense because of his pressure planet, so we can't even beat over his Fenrir. We have 2 monsters on the field, which there's not really a whole lot we can do. I do decide to kind of just pass and wait for the Durus Worm to go to grave, when I guess well, no, because even if I went to SP, nothing would happen due to the skill drain. It's so hard to play around skill drain, and it is what it is at the end of the day. It's game 3. You know, floodgates are part of the game. I've used them myself. It's annoying when they get hit for you, but when you're the one drawing them, especially when they're one-offs, it's oh so sweet. But unfortunately, our board is very suboptimal. It does give Dan the opportunity to get another Horus on the board, and he just goes ahead, punches our witch to get some damage done, 500 damage. He's then thinking about if he wants to destroy the Durus Worm. He decides he does, destroys the Durus Worm, and here's my mistake. I send his Imseti off the Durus Worm, and then Fenrir can just attack me directly. In my mind, he couldn't get the Durus Worm back, but of course he could, because he didn't summon it this turn from the grave. That was last turn. So main phase 2, he just goes ahead and he's even thinking of it himself, thinking, did I summon it this turn? But no, he didn't, so he can just summon it back, and it's like, great. I'm dealing with the exact same situation, whereas if I sent the Fenrir, at least my life points would be a bit safer. I'm looking through the extra deck to see if there's anything that could help me, and there isn't. So I go ahead and we spec Fenrir. We then normal summon the Lori, we link off the Lori into the Requiem, we activate the Requiem to tribute for cost, so it does go through to get the Engraver, and then we go ahead. I was thinking about equipping, which I'll do anyway, but I couldn't send it just purely and simply because the Engraver is negated, so yeah, literally not a whole lot we can do. So from there, like I said, not massive we can do. So I activate the engrave effect, shuffling back the Lori to spec itself, just to bolster our defences. But no, I choose to link off into the Alistair. I activate the invocation from hand, which I guess could have worked if I kept, if I had the other Alistair, but obviously I don't, because I could discard it to power it up. But then even then the King Sark gives it a power boost. So there's literally not a lot I can do here. I'm just tracking bodies on the board. But yeah, as you see here, Dan's just going to clear our field. He uses the King's Arc, sending his talents to the grave to then resurrect. I think it's Happy this time he resurrected. Yeah, his advantage is just getting more and more and more, and we can't put anything out on the skill drain. So yeah, he just clears our board, and that's game. So after game 2, or match 2, round 2, whatever you want to call it, we lost, but we was up against Dan, and I love playing against Dan, so at the end of the day it's not that big of a deal. Me and Dan always have really fun interactions, and we get on really well. I love playing against Dan. I could play against him every round and still enjoy myself. This week he was on Horus. I would like to say there's more to his deck, but I will be honest, we didn't really see much more of his deck. So, sorry, kind of losing my grip there a little bit. There we go, we're back. So, game 1, he won the dice roll. He goes first, he sets a couple of cards, gets some Horus engine going, and then I'm like, cool, let's do this. And you know, I spec a kashtira, I normal summon Alistair, go to activate the effect. Upon the normal summon, skill drain is flipped. My brain shut off when that floodgate flipped up. And by that I mean I kind of looked up my board state. I could have done some other bits and pieces, but instead my monkey brain went, I could still make Desiree under this. Let's go. You can't use sequences effect to fuse, can you? Because skill drains up. So I literally linked 2 into Moon, giving up my Fenrir, which was not even that, could have even done that much really. And it was at the point where I got the Lacrima out, and I already had the Engraver engraved because I ditched it to Attract. I was like, yeah, shit, I just remembered that I can't even activate Lacrima, I can't activate Sequence. Let's scoop it up and go to game 2. Game 2, I went first and I set up my board and I took game 2. I was quite happy with that. And then game 3 is what you just saw there. And again, skill drain gets flipped, and it was just like, yeah, losing the floodgates one thing, but at the same point it was on me. I had Harpy's Feather Dust decided in, but I did not slide in my Lightning Storms. So I knew he was on floodgates. I knew he went first, and I was just like, yeah, let's not put in the back row removal. So yeah, 100% my error on that, because I sided in the Bestials instead of the Lightning Storms, and as you saw, I had a Bestial in my opening hand. So that could have been a Lightning Storm, and that could have actually really helped us out there. And I made some dumbass decisions with the Bestials. As you saw, I sent Zimseti just for him to bring it back in main phase 2. So yeah, some really poor decision making there, but still a fun game after all. With that all being said and done though, here is round 3. Okay, so we're starting off against David. We won the dice roll, but what a hand we had opened. So we go ahead, we set the call by and the imperm and pass. There's not really anything else we could do, I suppose, because set an effect Veiler, but you'll see it does come up. So David actually starts off by discarding a dragon. I'll be honest, I don't know these names too well, but it's a dragon that it discards itself and another one to spec something. So we just go ahead and we hit it with the call by, we get rid of that. So then David has to use the 2 other dragons from his hand to go into its rank 8. We go ahead, drop the effect Veiler, he chains to call by, so we chain the second effect Veiler to still negate the dragon from searching. So instead now David doesn't really have his catapult turtle OTK line. So we still have that imperm. David then just punches me for 2500 because sure, why not, I guess. And then I believe he passes down here, so we draw for turn and we drew kashtira Birth. Yay. So all we can do is pass, so that's what we do. David then detaches to activate his monster's effect, and this time I let it through. Even though I've got the imperm, my thought here is I could just negate what he's trying to do. I'll be honest, I misunderstood what he said. I thought it detached the number from his to that monster, not specs a number and then attaches itself as material. So that's on me, I should have asked for further clarification. But he summons number 107 and puts Satellite Dragon as material. So David's now reading what number 107 does for me and detaches the satellite material for cost, and I do believe I hit him with the imperm here. So he's still fully explaining it, and I'm like, that's a lot of words, Chief, I don't want to deal with that, so I'm just going to imperm, which is kind of nice because it also shuts off the card in the back row. David's now reading the Satellite Dragon, chains the Satellite Dragon, banishing it, targeting this. So now what happens is its original attack becomes 100 times the number in its name. And of course it's 107. So 107, 107 times 100 is 10,700. So he OTKs me. Yay. Okay, so round 3 we was up against David, which again, I'm getting all the cool guys in our games today. Owen, Dan, David. Hey, if I get Wally or Sam next round, dream. I'm Matt and Adam. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm pretty much guaranteed a loss against all 4 of those guys. But you know it's going to be a fun game. So, yeah. But hey, we got David. So, as you just saw, there was game 1 of the match. Didn't go too well for us. David is on his Catapult Turtle Galaxy FTK deck. I seem to have stopped the Catapult Turtle line apparently, but so he just FTK'd me with the Galaxy Satellite Dragon instead, which wild 100 times the number in that card's name. He had 107, 107 times 100 is 10,700 direct attack. Nah, game 2 didn't go any better and I got 2-0'd. But we're going into the break now. I'm like X2 sorry, after 3 rounds, but still in good spirits, yeah. And it is pack per win, so I'm still walking away with 1 pack, and if I can win at least one of my next 2 rounds, I'm walking away with 2 packs plus my OTS. So I'm very happy about that, because it's also a sneak peek event, and at the end of the event a raffle is going to be run to see who wins the second map. So I'm not going to win the map, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I can win that raffle. So round 4 we're up against somebody who is brand new to the game, and I say brand new, he's not brand new. He played several years ago, he's come back into the game. He's on Performer Power Odd Eyes, like a nearly 50 card pile deck, no hand traps. And I'm going to show you the footage of game 1. I won the dice roll, I went first. I didn't really know what he was on at that stage. I knew he was on some pendulum pile. But yeah, so you're going to see how game 1 went. And then we'll come back in for game 2. And then we'll discuss round 5 all in one go. So enjoy this footage of Fiendsmith beatdown. Okay, so here we go into round 4. Our hand is a lot of green, but they're all greens that can do stuff. So let's go ahead and start off by shooting off the tract, just to try and bait out any ash blossoms or trolls. So we go ahead and search the lorry, which then we discard the lorry, which specs itself back. Our opponent's like, all cool. I'm like, fantastic. That means we have the Fiendsmith combo. So then we link off the lorry into the Rec Room. We activate the Rec Room, expecting the ash, but again our opponent's like, no, you're good. I'm like, fantastic. So we activate the Lacrima foolishly in the engraver, then we activate the engraver, shuffle back the lorry to spec itself, and then from there we link 2 into the sequence. Sequence effect will now activate, and still no imperm or effect veiler, so we are cooking on all cylinders here. And we go ahead and get the Desiree. We go ahead here, activate the wanted, so we can search for the Dear Bellstar. Then we activate the Dear Bellstar, ditching the second wanted from hand to activate its effect, as well to special summon it, and then it triggers its effect on summon. Then we activate the deception. I decide to I had the hallowed already, so that was kind of a lifesaver. So we're going to Musalago to search the 3rd and final copy of Wanted, just to get it out of the deck, and also it gives us very free link material if we want to go down that route of linking off. But we choose to link the Desiree off with the sequence to get the Agmundi. Then we trigger the Agmundi to bring back the Desiree and equip the sequence. So we're sitting on that large boy. Then we go ahead and we link 2 off into Rabbit. Rabbit will trigger here to set the Angel statue, just to give us another form of interruption. Then we shuffle back the Musalago to activate the Hallowed, giving up the last copy of Wanted in order to spec the Lord Sylvia. Then we activate the Wanted, put in Deception on the bottom of the deck, give the deck shuffle, give it to our opponent to cut, and we get to draw a card, which in this case is Magical Meltdown, which is amazing because we are yet to normal summon. So we search the Alistair, we normal summon the Alistair and grab the invocation, which then we just activate, fusing off the Alistair and the Rabbit into Mechaba. Then from here we can go ahead and activate the invocation, shuffling it back and adding Alistair back to hand to give us that monster negate or an attack boost if required. So we are literally sitting on an Omni negate, a negate up to 5 cards with the Desiree, and a monster negate with the Mechaba, and an inherit summon negate. So pretty good going first hand. We was able to touch into 3 out of the 4 engines of the deck as well, and we do still have that Ash Blossom. So our opponent starts off by activating Terraforming, so we do go ahead and Ash it. And it's here at this point I actually see that he is on the Performer Pal engine. So here he sets his scales, so now he can, which is 3 and 6. He goes to draw a card through one of their effects, I'm not sure, so I'll just use Desiree to negate them both. He still obviously keeps the scale, so he can still pendulum summon, but he's not using their scale effects anymore. I'm trying to limit the amount he can draw. He then goes ahead and pendulum summons out his Coin Dragon, tries to activate his trap. I explain that's not how traps work. You have to wait until my turn, and then he activates the spell card. We heal Sylvia negate. We activate the Hallow on our turn, now shuffling back to get the thingy. Now we make an illegal activation here. I completely forgot I activated Tract, and I do not have the Fiendsmith in Paradise in deck anymore. So we activate the Engraver from hand, and it's like, oh shit, my bad. Explain to him, our opponent's cool, he's like, yeah, whatever man. So now he goes to activate his trap. We Desiree negate it because, you know, I'm not letting him blow up my field. We get our invoked Purgatrio here, and we just got game on board. Unfortunate for our opponent, I kind of went really hard on him, and I didn't need to go that hard, but I wasn't aware when we were setting up the board. But yeah, I just think let's just end this now. We discard the Alistair to boost him by 1,000 and take that win. Okay, so there you saw our round 4 opponent. So like I said, really nice guy again, really nice and chill. Just unfortunately there is a massive power level difference between the decks. But yeah, afterwards we had a little look. I looked through my trade folder, see if there's anything I could help him out with. Ooh, what is going on with my phone holder thing today? God damn, just wanting to fall. Just see if there's anything we could help him out with. I had some ghost spells, but he wasn't too keen on taking them because he feels like they wouldn't help his particular build or his deck, which, you know, fair enough, each to their own. But I did have some School Aquaback Joker, Performer Pal School Aquaback Joker, Super Res, you know, the old, I think they were the old Mega Pack ones, or the OP, whatever they were, ones chilling in there. So I just let him have them, just to, because they weren't cards he was currently running, and obviously they are a good starter for the Odd Eyes Perform Pal or Magician stuff. So yeah, it's always nice to give back and help out where you can. So we did take that 2-0. Second game, he tries to go first, set up his pendulum scales. However, he passed on Performer Pal something or other. It's a monster wearing the red hat and coat, 1500 attack, normally a combo piece. However, he just passed on that in attack position, so was able to clear his field and OTK. Yeah, we all start somewhere, especially when we're going back. I remember when I first came back into the game, I chose Autogeist, and yeah, trap based decks back then especially weren't that great. So, but we all start somewhere, so it's great to see that he's getting back into the game as well. And then round 5, we got paired up against another wonderful player. They prefer not to be filmed, and that's fine. And again, I haven't asked if I can put their name in these vlogs, and I'm not going to, because they don't want to be filmed, they want to stay out of it, and that is absolutely fine. Their right to enjoyment and their right to privacy by far trumps anything I can put in these videos. So all I'll say on that is he was on, or they were on Fluffles, Fight Fur, whatever that deck's called. What is that deck actually called? Is it Fight Fur or is it Fluffle? I don't know. But he was on that deck, and you know, again, really fun. Loved the interaction. We did take it 2-0. We did take it pretty quick, because game 2 they bricked, and it sucks when it happens. Yeah, it happens to all of us. You saw my game against David. Yeah, the game you saw, I opened 2 effect raiders and imperm called by another random card. Game 2 against David, I opened 3 copies of Ash Blossom, kashtira Birth, and the Hallowed Azamina, so I did absolutely nothing. Yeah, it happens regardless of how you build your deck. I don't think there is a deck which is just unbrickable. I don't know, because if there was, I'm pretty sure everyone would be playing that. You know, you've got people playing Raziel, that brick on hand traps, and it sucks when it happens, but it's part of the game. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it was still a really fun, enjoyable game, which gave us the record of 3-2, which we're very happy with. We did walk out with 3 packs of Alliance Insight. Unfortunately, out of my packs, I pulled absolutely nothing I was after, but I did pull the new Eldritch Fusion, which was great because that is something Isaac's after, so at least I can help him out with his stuff. I, however, did do a trade with Rob. I didn't get to play against Rob, sadly, but we did a trade with him. I traded him 3 secret rare super polys along with £10 cash for the new Allied Insight Code Talker monster, the new Link 4 or 5, whatever it is, just because I think that would be an amazing boss monster for Mathmech. I know it's a boss monster for the Cyverse pile and for Malice, but also for Mathmech, and yeah, so I'm really excited for that. So I managed to pick that up off Rob, and I was able to pick up the majority of the Cyber Dragon new stuff. I'm just 1 Cyber Dark Worm short now, but again, I don't know if that's around at 1, 2 or 3, so that's something I need to look into. But I've got 2 copies of that, and I've got that playset of Cyber Dragon Ungat Jungan Morno, or whatever the hell the card's called, and yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the pickups I got. And with that in mind, you know, that is this week's vlog / locals done, apart from a feature match which I'm going to actually put on the end. So I'm going to do like so goodbyes here, and then you will get the feature match at the end. Because my round 5 opponent didn't want to be filmed, I asked Adam and David if they would mind filming their game for me instead, and we'll do some live commentary on it. And I keep meaning to do these as separate videos, and I never get around to doing it, so I'm just going to do it as part of this. I don't know if I'm just going to do round 1 or match 1, or if I'm going to do the full game, but either way, I hope you enjoy it. And I believe, well, you saw David's deck, it's the Catapult Turtle Tachyon Galaxy deck, and Adam is on Blue Eyes, so either way, it's going to be a fun one to watch. So I hope you enjoy that, and I will catch you guys next week at Locals, and until then, peace out. Okay, so here's the feature game, and we are going into this blind and a little bit sped up, so this is going to be fun. Looks like that Adam has won the dice roll, but does get charmed, but that doesn't stop him from activating that maiden in hand to go ahead and set that True Light directly face up on the field from the deck. Then it looks like Adam is activating the True Light to go ahead and set the Wishes. Assuming the Wishes is activated, yes sir, Wishes is being activated right here, ditching another Maiden. Okay, so he opened double Maiden, never good, but at least it's something. Goes ahead and grabs that Sage and the Raw. So he goes ahead here, normal summon Sage, which will allow him to search for the level 1 spellcaster, and that goes with the Effect Raider, and then we are linking off into the Spirit Link, giving his opponent a draw. So then from here, Spirit activates searching that Mausoleum. Mausoleum then comes down, and then the Mausoleum activates, targeting the Spirit Link to send the Blue Eyes to grave. Be interested to see what he does here. Yep, absolutely. He tributes the Spirit to bring back the Blue Eyes, which of course brings back the Maiden. I'm assuming we're going to see a Synchro Summon here. Oh no, first of all he's going to banish Wishes to equip the Ultimate Neos to his Blue Eyes, and then we're going to see a Synchro Summon into the Spirit. So he's got quite a good hand. He's got the imperm, the Nibiru, the effect Veiler, and of course the trap card that can pop cards up to the number of normal monsters in the field and grave. So he's got at least one there with the blue eyes. And yeah, it looks like he's passing there. I don't blame him. You don't want to give your opponent too many draws, especially when that Mulchami comes down. With the other cards he's got, he can certainly make things happen. So on his opponent's turn, he goes ahead, activates the Spirit to get the Neo's Spirit out, which of course gives him that Omni Negate. Now I'm assuming he was doing that to dance around that imperm. So let's see now what David is going to do. So David starts off by activating, I do not know these dragons' names, but it's a 2k dragon which allows you to spec it and then spec another level 8 dragon from your deck, I want to say, but its effects are negated, so he goes ahead and specs the Spiral Dragon. So he has 2 level 8s out on the field already, which is really good for David. So now he can go ahead and start his Xyz plays. Now this is quite nice because it is Spirit, like Synchro Dragon versus Xyz Dragon, which is always fun to see. And funny enough, all evolving around level 8 bodies in the main deck. So David's still having a think here. He activates the spell. I'm really sorry, I cannot see David's side of the field properly, but I can see there's a face-up spell on there. The camera has cut that off, so you're just going to get me babbling until Adam's turn, really, and then I can do my best to give you what David seems to be doing, but so far he does just seem to be sitting on 2 level 8s. You can see Adam's getting a bit twitchy there, looking at his hand and these face downs, and he goes ahead and flips it. So he is activating the trap card. He has 1 normal engrave, so therefore it pops the King Sark. That's what it was. That was the face up spell. It was the King Sark. Absolutely best target for that, because you do not want to get the Horus Engine rolling, because that will just give so much advantage, let alone discarding. So great play there by Adam. David does finally Xyz here straight into the 107, which is interesting. I'm not sure why he chose to go into the 107 straight away, but David knows this deck better than anyone else at our locals, I would hazard a guess to say. So if he feels confident that's the right play, then we will take him at his actions here. So David's just clarifying Spirit's effects, of course, and in the unfazed Spirit will get destroyed, but then he can special summon a light dragon back from the grave, which is a good way to recycle his level 9 Spirit Synchro. So the deck gets cut. It does look as if David's passing turn rather than attacking. Now bearing in mind, Adam does still have the Nibiru, the Imperm and the Effect Veiler, so he still has 3 forms of interruption here to try and stop David. David then just summons, I'm not sure what he summoned there, but he has summoned something, which is then met with the Effect Veiler, and then Effect Veiler gets put on the bottom of the deck. Like, sure, okay. Couldn't tell you why that part happened. Again, I do apologise. I can only work off the information we have here. For future feature matches, I might go back to the over the head angle, just so then I can actually see both sides of the field clearly, just to make this more enjoyable for the watcher, rather than just hearing me babble about absolute shit. So David now activates 107, detaching for cost. I would assume this will get the Imperm. Let's see if Adam imperms this. He reaches, yeah, he imperms the 107, stopping that from going through. I have no idea why these cards are going back into deck instead of the grave. I'm assuming it has something to do with the dragon that David put on his field. That card's get put back into deck instead of going to grave. Couldn't honestly tell you what the hell effect that is, but it's certainly interesting, that's for sure. Now, David is only one summon away from being nibbed, so let's see if he plays into that, or if he stops here. Adam still has the activation of True Light on David's turn to do as well. So at any point Adam can set a spell or trap from his deck that mentions Blue Eyes different to ones already in play, or he can choose to special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon directly from deck, grave or banishment. So if David does play into nib, Adam can still go ahead and get a Blue Eyes back on field if nothing else. So let's see what happens from here. You wouldn't believe this is 1.5 times speed up, but this is sometimes what happens with these big combos decks, because lots of text. There's a lot of reading, a lot of discussing, and sometimes that's enough. Spiral Dragon makes its way back onto the field, which is cool. I think that's because there's a light and a dark on the field, and when it's engraved it can spec itself back that way. Adam's got that nib in hand. He's ready. Yeah, he shotguns that nib. There it goes. So big nib token coming down on David's side of the field, that's for sure. So David's just calculating some defense and attack points there. Token comes down, and off they go. Now obviously that does stop Adam from cycling back his level 9 spirit, but at the same point it does also clear David's field. So from here I'm not sure if David has any way to carry on, or if that would be the end of his turn, but there's the activation of True Light like we said, which then obviously triggers and brings back the Maiden, and David passes turn, so Adam now gets to draw for turn. He goes ahead, drops the Druid Swarm. Absolutely beautiful. Banishment his own. Okay, that's interesting. I would have banished one of David's, but you know, I suppose you just get that tunnel vision of I can do this. But then he synchros back into another copy of Spirit. He goes ahead and activates that Roar, which allows him to special summon the Blue Eyes White Dragon. If he already controls Blue Eyes White Dragon, that would have allowed him to spec something else. But because he spec the Blue Eyes, it does trigger the Maiden Engrave, because that hasn't done yet on his turn. So Adam is just building the board here. You see him holding seals. It would be good for Adam, I would say, to go into another Synchro 9 here. No, he links it off into the Spirit, and then links the Spirit and the Druid Worm into seals. Druid Worm obviously then sends the token, and then bam, 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 that is game